You're both. Need everything.
Kurt, I'm giving you a prompt to unmute. You may, just making sure you know how to, but looks like you're on a phone.
How are we doing there?
Perfect,
I was
perfect.
just sending the new information out. Someone had just texted me, so
Okay.
I couldn't multitask.
Yeah,
Pam there
I gotta
that quick.
change
So,
that now.
all right, we'll give everybody a couple minutes to get organized here.
Oh, no, yeah. This isn't on mute though. I'm gonna repeat this. Nothing that. Funny. Someone else is eating too.
Hey, Diane, how are you?
Hey, Kurt, how you doing?
Living the dream and the technology.
Is this gonna be the last time we do this Zoom thing?
I hope so. The part of the problem is on my company phone that doesn't allow Zoom. So then I have to take my wife's phone, and you think every phone's the same. It quite isn't. So you get a little bit awkward with it. So, all right, let's see. We have, let me see here. What's going on?
These papers.
All right, so we've got, so I know I saw Alan. I have,
I need to mute myself. Sorry, guys.
that's okay. Who else is on at this time? I've got Alan and Diane.
So I'm here. This is Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So we got Jamie.
Kurt is here. The other Kurt is here. Alan's
Oh.
here. Diane's here. Tanya's here. And Kim is here.
Kim is there.
Yes.
All right. So we've got Alan, Diane, Jamie, Kurt, and Kim, correct?
Correct.
At this point, and Tanya's there and Pam's listening. Pam, thanks for getting us a number.
Yes, sorry.
Is good. So I know Sean sent me a note just before I left work. He wasn't having the best of days. He didn't give me the details, so he was all in for tonight. So we're not expecting Sean at this point. And I haven't heard from Alicia. I don't know if anyone got a text.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, Alicia texted me. She says she's on a work call. She'll be on when she's done.
Okay, very good. So I think we have everybody that we have at this point in time, except has Brian. I know we had some technical difficulties last month. Did we have Brian? I'm hearing nothing, so I guess no Brian at this
No
point.
Brian yet.
Okay, so he may be. Did you send a new call-in number to Brian also?
Yes. Yep.
You did? Okay,
Yep.
good.
And I'm changing the website. So
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just going to change it. So in case anyone comes in late and they look.
Okay, so let's get going with the members that we have. We have a quorum. So I'd like to call our meeting of April 7th, the Recreation Board to order at 7:10 at this point in time. I would like everybody to take a moment to look at Jamie meeting minutes of March 3rd. And Jamie, my apologies for the email yesterday. Senior moment, you were very good in getting it out the following day back in March. I just must have missed it
Well,
altogether.
it's easier now that we're on the computer, so as I'm going,
Yeah.
I can just type it
Yeah,
all out.
Right, no, but my apologies for
Oh, that's okay.
on that. Okay, so we'll give a moment, everyone, to take a look at the we'll entertain taking any motions for acceptance and or changes, deletions, additions. Okay, would someone like to put a motion forward for the meeting minutes accordingly?
I will.
Okay, Diane would like to motion on table to accept the meeting minutes. Any changes are required from any board member?
No,
Would
I'll
someone
second.
second by Alan? Thank you very much. All those in favor, I'm assuming it's unanimous by not hearing from everybody, but
Kim
Is everyone
abstain,
good
I
with it?
wasn't here at the last meeting.
Kim, okay, one abstention. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Thanks for reminding me on that. Okay, so we've got all in favor, Jamie, except one abstention with Kim. Okay, good. Do we have anybody else on the Zoom call from the public at this point in time that would like to speak under public comment? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to any board members who would like to talk of anything under public comment at this point in time. Okay, so with that said, we're going to move to item 4 of our agenda, which is the agenda review. Does anybody want to add anything to tonight's agenda at this point in time? Okay, very good. Hearing nothing there, we're going to move right on to agenda item number 5, which is chairman's report. I've got a number of things to touch base with the group on. First and foremost, I want to hopefully everyone had a good Easter. The weather was nice and everything. And then the second item is to Alan's point just before we started the meeting. How is everyone feeling about the next meeting, which is going to be May 5th, to have that as an in-person meeting? Any issues or concerns on any of the board members at this point in time?
No concerns from Kim.
Are we comfortable meeting in the selectmen's room, or do we want to spread out more and if need be and be at the green building if it's available on Wednesday nights?
We can't do the green building.
Okay,
The concert series started tonight and it's, actually, maybe we could.
all right. So I guess the point will be is that.
Yeah, we could do the green building. That's only April, so we could if we want.
All right. So everyone's comfortable with resuming in-person meetings at this point in time?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
All right, very good. So we will, between Tanya and I, we will develop whether we're going to do it at the green building or if we do it at in the select at this point. Okay, good. Thank you. Next item, just let everyone know as you've been by, the fields are open. Since I believe Raleigh Street's been open for 2 weeks now and Walker has been open. That side of the field's been open since this past Monday. If you've gone down by the fields lately, especially on the Walker side, take an opportunity to take a look at the new batting cage that's along the right field line at Walker Field, which is the larger baseball diamond. It really looks very good. Work done between, Public Works, Gilbert, and Jim's crew. It looks pretty good. It's really nice. So it's a great addition down there. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. Looks very good. Can't talk enough about it. Everyone saw that basically I've been putting out the master schedule. It's started. It's in place. As we're getting things thrown into the mix, we're putting it on the schedule. Just like last week, late last week, we got the word of the U19 girls soccer. It's going to have 4 games on Sundays, beginning in April through the last week of I believe second to last week of May. So we're going to be, as we get our rec programs up and going, we'll be adding more information to that and then providing that out to everyone. As you saw, I sent out last week also some of the display signage that Jim and his group has put together. I think he's been hung on one side of the field. I think he has a couple more to go on some of the other fields. Tanya, is that correct? She's probably on mute, but so those look good at this point. Next item I want to give everybody an update on is youth baseball and softball. Everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. That's silent sometimes. So we had our board meeting last night at the Green Building. At this point in time, based upon registrations that have come through, and we primarily did 99.9% of the registrations online this year. The printouts that the Excel sheet I saw again this morning appears that we've got about 107 registrations to date at this point in time. Based upon the registrations that have come forth, we at last night's meeting have geared up basically for, I'm going to go in reverse order here. We're probably going to do 4 T-ball teams at this point in time. And we're going to try to keep the T-ball teams as small as possible. And the reason behind that is, some of the COVID precautions and everything, which we'll talk a bit about in a minute. So we're hoping at this point to have 4 teams. We have, I believe, 34 or 32 signees at this, or registrations at this point. So our hope is to keep them, instead of having 12 or 14 young ones out on the field, trying to manage that with masks and everything else that goes into it. Maybe if we have extra teams, it'll make it more achievable for the younger guys and gals. So that's what's going on there. Our AA boys, which is
I'm sorry, Kurt, you said that there are going to be 14 T-ball teams?
no, I'm saying there's going to be
Oh,
4.
okay. I'm like, what? There's that many? I'm like, wow.
I
Okay.
wish, but no, 4 teams at
14
this
teams
point.
in general.
Yeah, and we're just trying to
Okay.
based upon registrations, we've got like 32 to 36 at this point. And we know we're going to get a small influx as we go. So the thought process, as I mentioned, is just to keep the numbers low on that team. It'd be very difficult to manage that group, let alone with the COVID, criteria. So that's what's going on there. An A League, which is the next up from T-ball, we're going to have 2 teams of A League at this point in time. So we have that aligned, and those will probably, right now, I think we've got about 18 registrations there, give or take. So we're looking hopefully, 9 to 10 to 11 on a team there, which will be hopefully good. Looking at minor league baseball at this point from the registration numbers, and I don't have the actual numbers for minor league, but we're going to be planning for 1 team. I don't think that there were more than 12 or so that had been registered at this point in time. So that's kind of what we're planning there based upon last night's meeting. At the Little League side, we're going to go with our traditional over the last 4 to 5 years, just 1 team, unfortunately, but that's where we're aligning at this point. And then moving over to the girls softball, the older girls, the double A as they're called, league, we will have 2 teams there. And then fortunately, we do anticipate to have a younger girls team again. We have a total of 9 registrations there. So that's looking good there. So that's kind of the breakdown at this point in time. A couple other things that I wanted to put out to the board, just for, points of interest and discussion here, is at this point, we are still combined with all the other communities that we have in the past, the Heartlands, the Colebrookes, the Barkhamsteds, New Hartford, and we're trying to shake out everything with them in regard to, what teams are going to have, so on and so forth. So that's going to be getting ironed out over the next week. At this point, from what we are hearing, they would like to start games sometime the week of the 19th of April. Whether that's achievable with all the groups, I'm not sure, but that was a date that was thrown out at this point. We will be, as we have in the past, we have coaches for, at this point, pretty sure coaches for all the teams that we talked about. We will be getting information out to those coaches. I spent a good portion of today communicating out. I know that, for example, the Little League group will be getting together this Friday night with Joe Nichols and the coaches down at the Little League field around 5:15 or 5:30 to get those guys going. And I'll be down at the field tomorrow night and to meet with some of the coaches, start getting equipment out, so on and so forth. So things are going to be moving quick here.
Kurt, just how many registrations you have for Little League?
I believe we had 13 at this point, Diane, from what I remember last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, at this point. And so we will also be, that's not me, but as we're meeting with the coaches, we have all the background forms to start giving the coaches, so on and so forth. The other thing that we're awaiting is, and we're going to need to have, discussion, going to be changes, what is the COVID requirements, PPE and everything that's going to be required. And once again, not only for us here at our fields, but also at the surrounding fields. And this also includes just not the players, but also the parents. So this is, we're kind of utilizing, from my understanding, what the CIAC has put forth for baseball, softball, combination of that, and some other things. I have not seen the version yet that's being proposed out from the surrounding communities. I know Joe is working with them on that. So, but as we did discuss last night at our meeting, is that couple things and then we did mention this, we are requiring that, each player, and this is totally different from any year past, have their own helmet. And so we have been publicizing that on the website. We do understand, and we do understand that we are going to have probably a number of parents who are going to come forth to say there's some hardships for doing that, so on and so forth. So we're going to be making preparations for what we need to do to support those hardships. We're not going to not have someone play because he or she cannot afford a helmet of their own. But we are starting with that policy. But we will be, as we have in the past, we will be looking at exceptions, as they come forward. So that's a big change. There's going to be, distancing between players. Players are going to have to bring their own potentially, because we're not the way that we're set up in all the different fields, whether it's here or in other fields. There's just not going to be enough in the dugout, not enough distance, so on and so forth. So some of this is going to be as we go. And as we see something, we're going to need to take action. So one of the things we talked about is, one of our initial concerns is, really the Little League. How do we manage that player protection, not being in the dugouts, because probably that won't be able to work that way. But these are the things that we're going to need to work out. We may be looking to put up some type of temporary protection here or there, just to make things that are safe. So, once again, there's going to be a number of rules about, sanitization of bats and of other things. So more to come on that, but at least the kids are going to get out there and they're going to get a chance to play, which is the most important thing, and try to do it as safely as possible. So, at this point, that is kind of everything on baseball, softball as we have it going right now. We will be meeting, coaches will be meeting probably next week in different meetings with the different coaches from the surrounding communities to review a lot of different things. So the typical coaches meetings, as they call it. So any questions from any of the board members? I know I threw a lot out there.
You said they're on helmets. Did you say they're on bats or no?
No. I
Okay.
think the bats are going to be okay. We are requesting own helmets.
On helmets, I knew that. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I know my daughter signed up for softball this year and she was gonna get her own bat. So I don't know if that,
It's not a requirement, Alan.
okay.
Easy,
No.
easy, stop.
And I think from last night's meeting, if you check the Winston Youth website, there was a new Al Royer put out a new announcement today regarding helmets and this and that and the bats, I believe. So just to let you know. Okay. The only other couple things, if there's nothing else on where we are on softball, baseball, other than it quickly came upon us. And I wish we had another 2 weeks, before we, but we're just going to hit the turf running. That's all we can do at this point, guys. And we'll make it work. We always do. A couple other things I just want to touch base on in my report before I turn it over to the next item on the agenda is wanted to follow back up on, we had a discussion, Tanya, a meeting or 2 meetings ago about the tennis court trees there and recommendation. Do we look at removing those and or planting something else? I don't know what has.
Bob said 100% no, we can't cut them down.
Okay, and the reason was?
He just basically said it would just come back hard with the town residents and cutting all those trees down, and he said absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
Nope. But
least
we
we
can
have
ask the new town manager in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, at least we asked. That sometimes you ask and you never get an answer, but at least we got an answer. Answer is
Yeah.
always good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to just touch upon very quickly is we talked about not to lose sight of it. I see you, Alan, is the flagpole lighting. Have we had an opportunity to take a look at what upgrade or recommendations we need to do on the flagpoles for my lighting?
Now that I have a few moments to life,
Sure.
I will get on that very shortly.
Yeah, and I know that we have funding set aside in the 1015 that I'm guaranteed that can take care of that. And I think it's important that we do that and don't lose sight of that. At this point, that just reading my note here is all I have for my report at this point in time. So turning a light on to keep myself awake. I want to go at this point to item 6, which is really let's have a discussion about what do we think on with Holland and Risha Beach here for the upcoming season. And I think a lot of it has to do with lifeguards at this point in time. So Tanya, can you kind of, give us a rundown where we think we're going here? Because
right now we're gonna be opening them, but Holland's looking like it's gonna be swimming at your own risk because we're not getting any applicants, applying for the jobs. I know it's very difficult right now to get certified. New Britain has a couple classes, but, not many people are applying. I think we have 2 that are gonna be full-time and 1 part-time as of right now. It is posted on the town's website. I'm gonna try to put something in the paper, that we're hiring lifeguards as well as a maintainer, in the next couple of weeks. But right now, we don't have many guards.
All right, so at this point, here we are, we're in the middle of April, Memorial Day is about 6 weeks away. And that's typically when we open the beaches, correct?
Correct.
All right, so, do we have everything in place or plan to have in place? What do we need to have in place if we basically, swim at risk at Holland?
Well, the lifeguards chairs have the signs that say no lifeguards on duty, swim at your own risk. They just
Okay.
won't be covered up. It will just be known. And if that's the case, that parking lot won't need beach stickers. It will just be kind of a park there and go, because we state that you only need a beach sticker while lifeguards are on duty.
Okay,
So we really won't have to worry about anything over there if we don't have lifeguards.
okay, good. Just one other question before I ask any other board members if they have questions on this is, so it looks like at this point that we're going to be staffing over at Risha Beach. How do you feel we are in regard to any of the recommendations or discussion points that, I forgot the gentleman's name, who's the first house over at Risha, that he talked to us back in, I believe, December or January. How do you feel we have addressed any of his recommendations or concerns at this point, and what are we still lacking potentially?
I mean, we gotta see what the town managers are gonna do with the parking on the street and how the police are gonna handle it. I mean, all that is kind of out of our hands. It's kind of more of
Understood,
a
but
police.
we have the item points that he has brought up. We have, and I want to make sure that from a board perspective, we've discussed those and we've taken whatever action or actions that we could at this point in time to address some of those. So that's
Right.
kind of the
I
question.
mean, the ordinances got passed Monday night,
Okay,
so that's gonna help us with rules and regulations. I mean, the signs are gonna go up for the towing, so that's also gonna help us for when the lifeguards are on duty and if there are cars there.
Okay.
We're gonna be allowed to tow this year, so that's gonna be a good standing point of helping us out with certain things as well.
right. And then I think one of his other points, or and once again, the garbage, which you can't totally control. Up
Right.
there.
Right.
It may be to our entertain as, I don't know how many garbage containers we do have up there, but we may need to increase those accordingly. So,
Right. I mean, his more concern was on off hours and off
Yeah.
season was the garbage during in season.
Right,
In
okay.
season, it's not a problem. It's
Yeah.
during the off season where it's
Okay.
the issue.
all right. So good. So I think that just kind of a bullet point back to everybody that, looks like that we're more than likely going to just be utilizing one beach this year. And we all need to make sure we're comfortable. We all understand the reasons behind that. Any board members have any other questions on this topic at this point?
Well, I'm just saying, who's gonna be responsible? Like, if things get out of control over at Holland, everybody's just like each their own, they call the cops or whatever. I mean, who would handle something like that if something happened? If it's overcrowded or it's just everything is all there at their own risk?
Good question. I mean, we'll have to ask Bob. I mean, if we can't staff it, we can't staff it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and I get that. I don't care if we do, but it's just I can see with just from the people you said last year,
Right.
what
right.
happens when there's a whole bunch of people and there's no one trying to control,
Right.
It's kind of, yeah.
Alicia, you have any intake on this in years past? Did you ever have not enough guards to have both beaches open?
No, actually, I had plenty back then. I don't know what to do.
Right,
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
Because they're not gonna stop going there because there's no guards. They're gonna be there,
right.
you know? So I'm just saying that, what happens when that,
Have you talked to, I mean, obviously the postings are on the town website, so does Bob and do other people know that this is an impending problem?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I talked to Bob and we talked to the Board of Selectmen about possibly shutting it down in general because of the safety issues that we brought to them, but that really didn't get far and got pushed to the side.
Well,
Well-
then, once again, if I got to draft a letter as, on behalf of the board to the town manager, the selectmen or whatever, we can tell them, hey, we've discussed this, at our meeting here in April. We don't think it's going to get any better, come June 1st. And we do have some concerns here, which are going to be out of our control potentially.
Right, because I mean, the way things are going right now, I don't see us being able to hire 4 or 5 more guards. I mean, classes are slim to none right now, and every town's having major issues getting lifeguards. It's not just Winstead. I mean,
Yeah.
we pay a decent amount. It's just kids don't want to take the responsibility. And classes are extremely hard to take right now.
Kurt, I think you drafting a letter is the best thing.
Yeah.
I really
And-
do.
Any input from any other board members on the impending, situation at Howland?
I mean, at
No, I
this
was gonna
point,
say-
oh, go ahead, Kurt.
Go ahead, Al. Okay,
No,
I was
please.
gonna say, I don't think the lifeguards could do much, even because they're so young. I mean, how old are the lifeguards? So
They
I don't know if
range
they
between
just,
16 and 25.
yeah, on the younger side. I mean, the few times I've been up there, I don't think the lifeguards would do anything if there was overcrowding. I don't know if they had the power to say, hey, you gotta
It
leave.
honestly doesn't matter. There's times that I've been there and the public doesn't listen. It doesn't matter who's there. It's
Right. So if if it wasn't crazy last year, I don't think it'll be much different with or without lifeguards. It'll probably be the same. Like you said, I don't think the lifeguards scare anybody off that, we're, up there.
true, yeah, they, at least have someone maybe a little common sense to call 911. It gets
I
too
mean,
much out of control, but
If,
I guess it's not our stuff to worry about right now. We don't have,
Go ahead,
not
Alan.
for nothing, not for nothing. If we're not supplying lifeguards to Holland Beach, obviously, if things are going to get out of hand, the police are going to have to take care of it.
yeah,
I mean, that's just the bottom line right there. I mean, am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. But once again, I think we need to give some level of notification of concern. And at least then people can't come back and say, hey, we didn't know about this. Hey, rec department, rec director, what's going on up there? It's a crazy house. Didn't you know this was going to happen? So on and so forth, whatever it may or may not happen. But I think we've talked about this. We've mentioned that more than likely a beach would be closed, whether we wanted to close it for other reasons, but this year potentially it's going to be closed, that we're recommending, because we don't have lifeguards to man it. So I think we'll put a notification out to the appropriate town and put, lack of a better word, to, put on notice that we've discussed it, and if there's any concerns, or we need to address them very quickly. So
No, absolutely agree.
okay,
yep,
everyone good with that? I'll draft a letter out to Bob, and I'll copy all the board members on it. I'll copy our Melissa, and then at least it's out there, and it's out there. It's not out there a week before we plan to open the beach. So
right, yeah. So at least everybody's well aware.
okay, good. Any other comments on Howland or Risa Beach at this point in time? And so that's item 6. So we're going to move to item 7. We're going to turn it over to Tanya to talk about spring activities and what's going on from her perspective.
All right, first we'll talk about the Easter event. Jamie, thank your husband again for being the bunny for us. Kim, thank you for stopping down and helping us hand out all the bags. Made about 100 bags, and I want to say we handed out about 70 to 80 of them. So we had a good turnout of cars, a lot of smiling faces, getting to see the Easter bunny. A lot of kids were happy. Really didn't see much get posted on Facebook to see how it was an overall turnout for the egg hunt, like, and how they did at their own houses. But I mean, at least we got to hand out 70 to 80 bags, so that was nice to see. Moving forward for spring and summer stuff, been posting a lot of stuff online. Registrations are opening up on April 15th for summer camp, Play Them All Again sports camp. Our basketball league for men's is going to be starting April 20th outside. We have 8 teams signed up for that. They're going to be playing Tuesday and Thursday evenings at the new court on Raleigh Street. So that's something new to look forward to. All registration, I mean, COVID is always the issue, but we're just following all the guidelines that we could and getting things open as much as we could at this point. Summer staff was hired. And we're just waiting on basically numbers. We're gonna go on, take the kids to the beach on beach days. The buses said we can take up to 48 kids, but they're willing to do 2 trips for us for the same cost. So we're gonna do 20 kids and probably 20 kids and just have them go back and forth 2 trips. So that way we're not crowding on the buses. I have different groups coming in for summer camp. We have a magic show. We have a guy that's going to come in and do like a bike stunt show. Another guy that's going to come in and do like a foam, like wet party. We're going to take the kids down to East End Park for ice cream. So we have like different things to entertain us. We're going to walk to R&B's. We're going to go bowling, but we're really not going to go on field trips that are far just because of COVID and travel. I don't think it's worth really taking the risk at this point.
Good. Couple questions I have. Do you have a tentative start date for camp? I don't know when school is ending. We typically, is it a week after school ends?
Now we have it starting. We're going 7 weeks. It's going to be June 28th to August 14th. Torrington ends a little bit later than us, and it does conflict with our director that runs the camp and a couple of staff members. So we're going the week of the 28th.
All right. And what's your tentative end date?
August 14th.
All right. Thank you. August 14th. Okay.
And right now we are at split locations. We're going to see what numbers give us. We're going to have the older kids at the playground and the younger kids at Pearson. All depending on what our numbers look like is if we'll put them all at Pearson or we'll keep them split.
And last year, just correct me if I'm wrong, everybody was at Pearson, correct?
Yeah, we were maxed out at 30 kids last year. This year, the max is 40. So my goal, well, it's 20 per group. So my goal is to do 20 at the playground and up to 40 at Pearson if numbers allow it.
Okay. Okay, good. Any other questions from any other board members for director's report?
I do want to touch base really quick. I went down Tetros Pond today. I met with the Elks Club. So they plan to do their annual fishing derby. So I'm going to be making copies of their donation form. I'll email it out to everyone. If you guys know any businesses that would like to donate to the Elks Club for the fishing derby, just send them out to different companies, help them kind of advertise. That way we can kind of help them raise money for it. They haven't had this in 2 years, so a lot of kids are looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a bigger event. Also, if anyone's around and wants to help clean up Tetros Pond, there's a lot of weed whacking that needs to get done. I plan to meet Jim Welcome down there tomorrow morning at 10 to show him and the guys what needs to be done. But with the amount of work, if anyone's ever around or wants to help in the next month, we can use some help. I don't think it's right for the Elks Club to have to clean it up. It is our property. So I plan to have Jim and the guys go down and really take care of this in the next month, because I think that's fair.
I think so. And once again, if it's, if we're running behind schedule, if we need to hire somebody in for a couple hours to take care
Right.
of it, we have money
Right.
for that.
Oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
But
Oh,
I,
I did-
the
I
more
did
I
see
sat
though,
during the meeting, go ahead, sorry.
Tanya, on Facebook, they were, when they had, at one article, I don't even know who it was, but they had the fishing derby coming, and there was a lot of people saying they would go down there and start cleaning, you know, picking
Right.
up. So a lot of, I don't know who they were and what they were, but
Yeah,
they,
it was the group that I was talking to tonight. But I told them that the rec department will be handling the majority of it.
okay.
They said they're gonna get volunteers, but it is our property, and I think
Sure.
that our maintenance crew should be ones more so doing the job than them. I mean,
Okay.
Right.
you know,
So was there a date for this proposed at this point?
May 16th.
All right, thank you.
So, like I said, I will be making copies. I'm going to send everyone the paperwork. If anyone has businesses or knows businesses that wants to donate, I think if we can all help advertise and get them some money, it will just help that overall.
Okay, good. Anything else on your report, or any questions from any board members on activities? All right, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move to item 8, which is under old business, which is, I think, we wanted to have a continued discussion on East End Park responsibilities. I know you got some direction from the town manager last month. My first question before we open it up is, there was an event down there this weekend.
Yes.
Everyone, you were aware of it or not aware of it?
No, I was aware of it. They filled out all paperwork. They actually
All right, good.
paid a small fee because it was a vendor. Cleaned up great. Everything went very smoothly.
Okay, good. So, so why don't you just fill the board in regard to where you are based upon the marching orders from Bob, I'm assuming at this point in time.
All right, so basically, Candy's been in contact with me and wanting the recreation board to do what Torrington does and take over East End Park. Bob kind of came to me and said it's my responsibility. I had ongoing conversations with Candy the last week or so, saying, you know, basically what Alicia said. Are we Parks and Rec or are we a rec? Because I mean, we don't maintain the property, we don't do a lot, so why are we getting this? She didn't really have a good answer for me. Things are kind of heated right now. I don't know if any of you guys seen the last paper of comments that were going on and from the last Board of Selectmen meeting. But it had to do with a comment that I don't know if it got phrased wrong or interpreted wrong, that we were charging everyone, and people were trying to say that we can't charge for protesting, which we're not trying to do. I mean, it's free speech, free public. You can't stop people from going down there. You can't stop people from protesting and doing certain things, but we're going to be charging groups that are vendors and that are there collecting money, making money, and doing things for their businesses. So I think the whole aspect of it is kind of all up in the air, and people are upset with how things were phrased at the selectmen meeting, which aren't necessarily true, because we're by no means trying to stop any certain group or any types of people of going to the park and having freedom of speech. What we're trying to do, and what the town's trying to do overall, is groups that want to do vending fairs and concessions and promote and like make money for their business are the groups that are going to be charged, and possibly maintenance fees, because Public Works might have to come in to clean up a lot of garbage from these fairs. So that's one of the biggest things that like people need to know. Like, we're by no means anyone in town is trying to stop any group from coming in or doing anything in the park. We support all groups, and it's just that we're trying to get things straight for vendors. Because I mean, if other groups are coming in and setting up shop and making money and selling things, then, you know, the town kind of has a right to make money off of that as well, and they have to clean up after it.
Okay, so I know that you had put together, you had a couple meetings with police chief, town manager, Jim Rollins, or a meeting at least. You
Right.
draft out some documents basically to use as registration forms.
Yep.
Any issues there?
No, so we basically took what Torrington had, revised it a little bit, came up with our fees for the vendors, and it's posted on the website right now.
Okay.
The group that was down there really called me, said thank you, they want to come back. I told her we updated our process and our fees and how things will work. She said great, and she plans to use it again for a big vendor fair.
So, with that said, just walk me through based upon your limited hours that you are in the building and working for Winchester.
Yep.
So how does the notification process start? They leave you a voicemail, send you an email, you
No,
check.
they would have to either email in that form or mail in the form.
Okay,
And
So-
I put on it that it has to be within 30 days of the event,
okay. So
not
they're not
taking anything last minute.
Okay, very good. Any questions, commentary from any of the board members on this? My first thing is going to be, we do have a new town manager who's starting when, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I heard,
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean, I see East End Park being an headache and an ongoing process. I mean, Candy wants things that I personally don't agree with, and I don't see working and being too much stress and too much paperwork and too much to keep control of.
Right.
So I think this is gonna go back and forth between us and Board of Selectmen and probably for a while. And I think we kind of need to just stand our ground with certain things, because I mean, it's really not even, like we said, our property. I mean, we're not really in charge of this. So I
Okay.
think as a board, we just kind of need to like set certain ground rules and like make sure that we don't get pushed around or we don't get blamed for like certain things.
Well, and once again, that, you, just because since you're associated with East End Park now, you are the point person. You being the point person for the recreation department, basically, no one thinks, well, it's the selectmen or it's the police or whatever. It's you, it's the recreation department, it's the recreation board.
Right.
So this is great conversation we need to have. And I fully agree that, I knew kind of going into this is not going to be cut and dry. Just because of the nature of anybody and everybody who, potentially utilizes the park down there. So,
Right.
Input from other board members, please, on this. I don't want to try to manipulate the meeting here, the conversation. Thoughts, comments, guys?
Is
I
it
think
really
it's
such a
going-
bad thing if we have control over East End Park?
I mean, the whole issue is are all these groups gonna come to us and fill out forms that have been there for years and didn't fill out any paperwork?
Okay, but under
How do
new
you go
guidelines,
of
it's
who you
that-
charge, who you don't charge, who's a vendor, who's not a vendor?
well, if we put out there that, okay, make a big stink about it and say, okay, well, now the rec department is in charge of East End Park. These are the protocols that you have to follow.
Right. So just remember one thing, folks, at this point in time, East End Park is not under our auspices. It can only be under our auspices if the Board of Selectmen tell us it's under our auspices.
And is
okay.
that what they want, though? Do they want us?
Once again, this is board. We've only heard from the mayor
Okay,
and the town manager. This
Right.
is that is not the Board of Selectmen.
okay.
And
So it's still an ongoing issue.
Yeah, it is. And if you captured what was mentioned early on, is that it's Bob, the town manager, from a management perspective, giving it to the director to manage, not the rec board.
Okay.
So that's one way of working around it. So once again, as I said, this is something that if we're under control, you have to define what that control and responsibility is.
Right. And the other problem, Jamie, is this. Just like we have rules and regulations that we put in place as town ordinances to help us for the beach, there's no ordinances and there's no things to govern really East End Park and nothing to help us. So now we're back at square root one of, well, there's no signs allowed, but where is that posted? You know?
Yeah.
So not having ordinances to help us and not knowing the rules and regulations to property that we don't even maintain, it makes it very difficult to for us to run things properly.
Right. So yeah, I agree. Any other board members' commentary on this?
Have we been asked by the selectmen at all? Has it even been brought up that the rec board take over this?
We were just told.
We were just told by Bob
Yes,
and Candy.
correct.
Well, Candy, the letter, the letter after our last meeting that I sent to Bob, I sent to Melissa and sent to Candy. Candy responded back to me is that this is not a direction from the Board of Selectmen. She was very clear about this. The Board of Selectmen have not directed the Recreation Director nor the Recreation Board to do this.
So in reality, we do not have to take responsibility at this time.
The Recreation
No,
Board,
Bob told us we do.
the Bob has given the director the responsibility, which he can,
Yes.
right? The director does not report only dotted line to the recreation. We set policy basically at the Recreation Board side. So, but this is not coming from the body of the selectmen. It's coming from potentially, I'm assuming Candy at this point, through to Bob. And once again, when I asked that basic question in my email to her, the response was no, the selectmen themselves are not requesting this. There's been no discussion or vote on that.
So in 2 weeks, this could all change.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's, it's good that we have this discussion. If we as the board, we need to have a separate meeting on this at some point or further discussion. Once again, if we feel that we need to push this back to the Board of Selectmen, I will push it. I have no problem with the support of this board to push it back one way or the other.
Well, I think we should invite the new town manager to one of our meetings to meet our board and go over things as well.
Sure, that's a good point too. Let him get his feet wet for a couple of weeks, and then we throw him into the lion's pit.
Exactly.
Because one of the things, and I wanted to make sure is that that this, I know how these things happen is that being a lifelong resident here is you go in with some good assumptions, and before you know it, you're the bad person, you're the one who can't hold function here, and it's you, and if you're against us, and we just need to avoid that at this point. My opinion. We do need a process to manage these things. Whatever that process needs to be, we need to be comfortable with it, and who controls it and does it. So, so the key thing here is in my we're going to table this. I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to keep it on the agenda because it is a topic that we need to keep on top of. One of the key things is, I will be sending this letter out to selectmen and Bob and everybody in regard to the impending Holland Beach. One of the things when we talked about this last month, and we did some research. So the Firemen's Carnival, we know that that's going to be more than likely coming back this year, correct?
Yeah, so one thing is they did change the date for us. They are gonna be going the following week, which is good because
Good.
now if we have camp down there and we have to play at all sports camp, it doesn't take away our fields.
All right. And that's
Um,
one of the reasons I was asking about the end date. Now,
Yep.
one of the things I we'll see how this plays out. Technically, because of the size of the crowd that the Firemen's Carnival is going to be giving, they should be going in front of the selectmen per the ordinances to get that approval.
Yeah.
They don't. No, technically, yes, they should be.
Oh, I know, but I said good luck with that.
But no, they're gonna fill out a form. And here's my point.
Do they
Just-
ever even fill out a form with us? Cause I haven't seen one.
Well, once again, there, if you read, if the East End Park, and and you look at the ordinances, and it's any park, it doesn't just say East End Park, any crowd over a certain amount needs to get approval from the Board of Selectmen, not the Recreation Department.
Oh, I know.
So
I know what it says. I
I'm
know what
very,
it says.
I'm very, if we have to, if the selectmen want this, there's going to be a flip side of this whole thing. They're going to be part of the equation in my mind, because
Right.
if it's a large crowd meets the ordinance, well, guess what? You guys have to call a special meeting. You need to do the approval process before we can get final approval,
I agree.
So anyway, that's all I have. Anyone else on old business on East End Park? Okay, moving to item 9, new business. Anyone want to chat about anything new and exciting? It's warm. Maybe it's going to be, sunny for the next couple of days will be good. Okay, hearing none. So I'd like to take a motion for adjournment at this point from somebody, and we are going to be looking to get together on May 5th at an in-person meeting at some location.
Yeah, let's
And
just plan for the playground.
playground at this point?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. All right, can someone make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to adjourn.
8:03 by Alan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Thank you. All those in favor? And so at this point, everyone enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see everybody on the 5th of May in person.
At the Green Building.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.